Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about opera. Opera is a form of musical theater that originated in Italy in the 16th century and has since spread throughout the world. It's a grand spectacle that features singing, acting, and orchestral music. The stories are often epic and dramatic, and the music is powerful and emotional. Opera singers are trained to use their voices in a way that is both beautiful and expressive. And they often perform in languages such as Italian, German, and French. While opera may seem intimidating or inaccessible to some, it's an art form that can be enjoyed by anyone who appreciates great music and storytelling. The history of Philippine opera can be traced back to the Spanish colonial period, when zarzuela, a Spanish form of operetta, was introduced to the country. Zarzuela was often performed by amateur theater groups and featured a mixture of spoken dialogue, songs, and dance numbers. Over time, local performers began to adapt the form to include indigenous themes and musical styles. One of the earliest local theaters in the Philippines was the Teatro Zarzuela, which opened in Manila in 1890. It was named after Juan Zarzuela de San Martin, a Uruguayan poet and playwright who was known for his works in the zarzuela genre. Teatro Zarzuela became known for its zarzuela performances, which were often attended by the city's elite. As Philippine opera continued to develop, other theaters and performance spaces emerged throughout the country. One notable example was the Manila Grand Opera House, which opened in 1902 and became known for its lavish productions of zarzuela and other operatic works. The first Filipino opera is considered to be Dalagang Bukid, Country Maiden, composed by Hermenegildo Cruz in 1916. It tells the story of a young woman from the countryside who falls in love with a wealthy city boy, and the challenges they face in their relationship due to their different social backgrounds. Dalagang Bukid was originally written as a zarzuela, a popular Spanish form of musical theater that was widely performed in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. However, Cruz adapted it to include elements of Philippine music and culture, such as incorporating traditional Filipino folk songs and dances. Some claimed it to be Sandugang Panaginip as the first Philippine opera. Sandugang Panaginip is actually a play and not an opera. The first Filipino opera is indeed Dalagang Bukid, composed by Hermenegildo Cruz in 1916. It was the first opera written in the Tagalog language and is considered a landmark in Philippine music and culture. Despite its popularity, Philippine opera faced challenges during this period, including a lack of government support and competition from other forms of entertainment such as cinema and radio. Nevertheless, it continued to evolve and adapt to changing tastes and technologies, paving the way for the vibrant theatrical tradition that exists in the Philippines today. Philippine opera, also known as Operang Pilipino, has a rich history that dates back to the Spanish colonial period. During this time, the Philippines was heavily influenced by Spanish culture, including the zarzuela, a popular form of operatic theater. The first known original Philippine opera was Noli Me Tangere, composed by Felipe Padilla de Leon in 1957. It was based on the novel of the same name by Philippine national hero, Jose Rizal. The opera tells the story of a young man named Crisostomo Ibarra who returns to the Philippines after studying in Europe and discovers the injustices and corruption of the colonial government. Since then, Many other original Philippine operas have been composed, including El Filibusterismo, also based on a novel by José Rizal. La Loba Negra by Francisco Feliciano, and Ramahari by Lucio San Pedro and Bienvenido Lumbera. These operas often incorporate elements of Philippine folk music, dance, and language, and address themes such as nationalism, social justice, and cultural identity. They have helped to establish a distinct tradition of Philippine opera and showcase the rich cultural heritage of the country. La Loba Negra is a Philippine opera composed by Francisco Feliciano, with libretto by national artist for literature Bienvenido Lumbera. It is based on the novel The Black Wolf by Francisco Balagtas, a renowned 19th-century Philippine poet. The story is set during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines and follows the life of Gabriel, a young man who is falsely accused of a crime and imprisoned. While in prison, Gabriel meets a mysterious woman known as the Black Wolf, La Loba Negra, who becomes his mentor and teaches him about Philippine history, culture, and the fight for freedom against Spanish oppression. Gabriel eventually escapes from prison and becomes a revolutionary leader, fighting alongside other Filipinos for independence from Spain. However, his success comes at a great cost, including the loss of his family and loved ones. La Loba Negra is a powerful exploration of Philippine nationalism and the struggle for independence, as well as a commentary on the social and political issues facing the country during the Spanish colonial period. The music combines elements of Philippine folk music with Western classical music, creating a unique and evocative sound that captures the spirit of the story. Noli Me Tangere is a Philippine opera composed by Felipe Padilla de Leon, with libretto by national artist for literature Guillermo Tolentino. It is based on the novel of the same name by Philippine national hero, José Rizal. The opera tells the story of a young man named Crisostomo Ibarra, who returns to the Philippines after studying in Europe. He is saddened to discover the injustices and corruption of the colonial government, as well as the poverty and suffering of his fellow Filipinos. Despite his efforts to bring about positive change, Ibarra is falsely accused of treason and imprisoned. He eventually escapes and assumes a new identity as a revolutionary leader, fighting for Philippine independence. Along the way, Ibarra falls in love with Maria Clara, the daughter of a wealthy and influential family. Their love is threatened by the social and political conflicts that surround them, including the opposition of Maria Clara's father and the machinations of a corrupt friar. The music of Noli Me Tangere is a combination of Western classical music and Philippine traditional music, including indigenous instruments and melodic themes. The opera explores themes of colonialism, nationalism, and social justice, and is a powerful tribute to the life and legacy of José Rizal. El Filibusterismo is a Philippine opera composed by Felipe Padilla de Leon, with libretto by national artist for literature Guillermo Tolentino. It is the sequel to the opera Noli Me Tangere and is also based on the novel of the same name by Philippine national hero, José Rizal. The opera follows the character of Simoon, a wealthy and powerful figure who seeks to avenge the injustices he suffered in the past at the hands of the colonial government. He plans to incite a revolution and overthrow the Spanish rulers, using his wealth and influence to manipulate various factions and individuals to achieve his goals. Simoon is also motivated by his love for the beautiful Paulita Gomez, who is engaged to his former friend and rival, Isagani. The love triangle between Simoon, Paulita, and Isagani is complicated by the political and social tensions of the time, as well as the machinations of other powerful figures. As the opera progresses, the various plot threads converge in a dramatic and tragic conclusion, as the revolution is ultimately crushed and many of the characters meet their fates.